In the sprawling, vibrant metropolis of Viridian City, where glass towers pierce the sky and the rhythm of ambition pulsed through every street, lived Kai, a young man with a spirit as bright as his name. Kai, barely in his late 20s, had chosen a path less traveled. While his peers chased corporate dreams, Kai poured his heart into the Beacon, a modest community center nestled in the city's oldest, most overlooked district. The Beacon was more than just a building. It was a sanctuary, a soup kitchen, a makeshift clinic, and a warm bed for those whom Viridian City's glittering facade preferred to ignore. Every morning, before the first rays of dawn kissed the skyscrapers, Kai was already at the Beacon, brewing coffee whose aroma promised warmth and a semblance of normalcy. His days were a relentless cycle of preparing meals, distributing donated clothes, listening to heart-wrenching stories, and offering a comforting presence. He knew the names and faces of every person who walked through his doors. Mama Rose, a wise elder who'd seen the city change 100 times over. Young Jamal, whose dreams had been shattered by circumstance. And countless others, each carrying a burden Kai felt compelled to lighten. His steadfast companion in this tireless endeavor was Aisha, a childhood friend whose pragmatic mind and unwavering loyalty balanced Kai's boundless idealism. She managed the sparse inventory, navigated bureaucratic hurdles, and often simply reminded Kai to eat. Despite their tireless efforts, the systemic indifference of the city was a constant, crushing weight. Funding was scarce, donations sporadic, and the city council, under the leadership of Mayor Thompson, seemed perpetually preoccupied with grand development projects that promised economic growth, but offered little solace to the city's most vulnerable. Kai often found himself battling red tape, his pleas for support met with polite but firm rejections. He'd sit in his small, cluttered office late at night, the city lights twinkling outside like distant, uncaring stars, and wonder if his small acts of kindness truly made a difference. He prayed, not for miracles, but for strength, for a sign that his unwavering faith in humanity and divine purpose wasn't misplaced. The words of Matthew 25-31:4-6 often echoed in his mind. A promise and a challenge. Whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me. He clung to this scripture, a lifeline in a sea of despair, believing that every bowl of soup, every kind word, every shared blanket was an offering to something far greater than himself. Then, the crisis struck. Not a sudden, dramatic event, but a slow, insidious creep of disaster. A record-breaking heatwave descended upon Viridian City, baking the asphalt, shimmering off glass buildings, and turning the air into a suffocating blanket. The city's aging power grid, already strained, buckled under the unprecedented demand for air conditioning. One sweltering afternoon, with temperatures soaring past 110 degrees Fahrenheit, the lights flickered, then died. The entire city plunged into darkness, and silence, save for the distant wail of sirens, descended. What followed was chaos. Air conditioning units ceased, refrigerators failed, and the city's water supply, dependent on electrically powered pumps, began to dwindle in many areas. The heat became a killer, especially for the elderly, the sick, and those living in high-rise apartments without ventilation. While many affluent residents fled to cooler climes or holed up in generator-powered enclaves, Kai and Aisha immediately mobilized the Beacon. Their small center, equipped with a modest solar panel system Kai had painstakingly installed years ago, became an oasis. They opened their doors wider, pushing aside tables, making space on every available patch of floor. The small generator hummed, powering a few fans and a single refrigerator. The aroma of coffee was replaced by the desperate smell of sweat, fear, and the faint, metallic tang of dehydration. People poured in, families with crying children, elders struggling to breathe, individuals disoriented by the heat. The words of Matthew 25 became their operational manual, their guiding light in the encroaching darkness. Water became the most precious commodity. Kai, with Aisha by his side, organized a perilous water run, navigating blocked streets and panicked crowds to reach a dwindling municipal well on the outskirts of the district. They filled every container they could find, their arms aching, their bodies drenched in sweat, knowing that every drop could save a life. Back at the beacon, they carefully rationed it, ensuring that the most vulnerable received enough to stave off collapse. They fed the hungry with what little non-perishable food they had, stretching every can of beans, every bag of rice, into as many portions as possible. Aisha, with her practical mind, created a makeshift cooling station with damp towels and hand fans, tending to those suffering from heat stroke. Kai, ever the empath, moved among the weary, offering words of comfort, holding trembling hands, and listening to stories of loss and fear. He welcomed every stranger, every displaced family, regardless of their background or previous circumstances, embodying the spirit of hospitality that the scripture demanded. Children, their eyes wide with fear, found solace in Aisha's gentle voice as she read them stories by the dim light of a battery-powered lantern. As days bled into nights, the crisis deepened. Looting began in some areas, desperation turning into violence. Rumors of disease spread like wildfire. Mayor Thompson's office, overwhelmed and underprepared, struggled to coordinate relief efforts, which often bypassed the most marginalized communities. Kai found himself clashing with city officials who tried to centralize aid, demanding that the beacon direct its resources to larger, government-run shelters. These people are here now, Kai had argued, his voice hoarse from exhaustion. They need help, not bureaucracy. He refused to turn anyone away, understanding that for many, the beacon was their last resort, their only hope. He saw people hoarding resources, turning away their neighbors, and a profound sadness settled in his heart. Was this the true nature of humanity, stripped bare by adversity? He wrestled with his faith, praying for strength, for guidance, for a sign that God was still present in this suffering. He remembered the parable of the sheep and the goats, the stark division between those who served and those who neglected. He knew which side he had to be on, no matter the cost. Yet, amidst the despair, small miracles began to unfold. Mama Rose, despite her age, became a pillar of strength, her calm demeanor and spiritual songs soothing frayed nerves. Jamal, once withdrawn, stepped up, organizing volunteers and helping distribute supplies. Neighbors who had previously been strangers began to share what little they had. A local doctor, Dr. Anya Sharma, whose clinic had lost power, heard about the beacon and brought her medical supplies, offering her expertise to the sick. The systemic indifference began to crack, not from the top down, but from the ground up, fueled by Kai's unwavering compassion. People who had once walked past the beacon without a second glance now saw it as a beacon of hope, a testament to what humanity could be when faced with its greatest challenges. Weeks later, as the heatwave finally broke and the power grid slowly flickered back to life, Viridian City emerged, scarred but transformed. The official relief efforts, though belated, eventually reached all corners. But it was the beacon that had stood as a consistent, reliable source of hope throughout the darkest days. The story of Kai and his small community center spread, a testament to resilience and unwavering compassion. Mayor Thompson, facing mounting public scrutiny and witnessing the undeniable impact of the beacon, was compelled to acknowledge Kai's work. He visited the beacon, not for a photo opportunity, but with a genuine sense of humility. He saw the weary but hopeful faces, the makeshift beds, the shared meals, and the profound sense of community that had blossomed in the face of adversity. He saw Kai, exhausted but still radiating a quiet strength, tending to an elderly woman, and something shifted within him. The mayor, a man often driven by political ambition, saw the true heart of his city, beating strongest in its most vulnerable corners. Kai, standing amidst the gradual return to normalcy, felt a profound sense of peace. He was physically drained, but his spirit was renewed. He looked at the faces around him, faces that had been etched with fear, now softened by gratitude and a newfound sense of belonging. He saw Mama Rose sharing a laugh with a young mother, Jamal organizing a cleanup crew, Dr. Sharma still offering medical advice. He realized that every act of kindness, every shared drop of water, every comforting word had created an intricate web of connection, a ripple effect that had saved lives and rekindled spirits. In serving the least of these, he had not only served his community, but had also experienced a profound spiritual revelation. The words of Matthew 25 resonated with a new, vibrant clarity. Truly I tell you, whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me. He understood that the divine was not distant or abstract, but present in every act of selfless love, in every shared burden, in every moment of human connection. The crisis had stripped away the superficiality of Viridian City, revealing its true heart. People were more connected, more aware of their shared humanity, and the importance of collective responsibility. The beacon was no longer just Kai's project. It was a symbol of collective compassion, a testament to the power of faith in action. The systemic indifference that had once plagued the city began to crack, replaced by a growing understanding that true prosperity was measured not in skyscrapers, but in the well-being of every citizen. Kai, stronger in his faith and purpose, looked towards the future with renewed determination. The city, though scarred, had a renewed sense of community and empathy, inspired by his unwavering faith and actions. The lesson was clear, etched into the very soul of Viridian City. True greatness and divine favor are found not in power or wealth, but in selfless service and unconditional love for all, especially the most vulnerable, for in their faces, one sees the face of the divine.